Well, the largest advertising firm in the world says the current revenue from mobile apps is just the tip of the iceberg. Julie Hyman, joined by Martin Sorrell, he's the CEO of WPP, live from the Business Council meeting of CEOs in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Julie, take it away.
Betty, thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining us to talk about what's going on with advertising. First of all, I understand that you are going to be combining some of your interactive advertising companies into a network. At least that's the talk. Talk to me about what may be happening.
Well, we've got a number of networks. We've got Wonderman, which is the largest. We have 3 digital leaders. One of the major research companies evaluates digital leaders, and we have 3 out of the 7 inside WPP. Wonderman, which is about $1 billion network now, approaching that. Ogilvy One, about $850 million. And last but not least, VML, which is inside Young and Rubicon, which is about just over $100 million. What we've done is to take 4 of our firms, Schematic, Bridge, Quasar, and Blue. 2 of those are in the United States, one in Cincinnati, Bridge, one in New York, Schematic. Quasar is in India, and Blue is based in Singapore but is in China, and we've combined the 4 to create another network. They'll have revenues of over 100 million, so about VML size. So we'll have 4.
So what does that do by creating that network?
Well, what essentially you had was 4 individual companies which had expertise in 4 geographies. And what we're seeing increasingly is clients want, even in the digital area, or more so in the digital area, whether it be PC-driven, mobile-driven, video content-driven, or last but not least, social network-driven, they want global capabilities. I mean, this is not trite or fashion. This is fact, because most of our clients, their strategies are based certainly on growth in the United States, in limited, and Western Europe, but essentially the growth, the big growth of the people here, for example, the Business Council, is coming from the BRICS and Next 11, or what the Economist calls the civets, and those countries are countries where we have to penetrate more faster. Quasar is the biggest and most successful interactive internet direct agency in India. Blue is one of the most successful in Asia, across the whole of Asia, particularly in Singapore and in China and Hong Kong. And therefore, we really thought bringing them together would make some sense. The management teams of each actually generated the idea themselves about a year ago. They've been planning it for about a year, so we're very excited. But as always, the proof in these things is in the proof of the pudding's in the eating. So we have to see how we do.
So when you talk about digital here, and you talk about WPP, which has so many different ad businesses under the umbrella, how much of your business is digital right now, and how much do you expect to be digital?
We set ourselves the target of a third about 6, 7, 8 years ago. We've got to about 28% now last year. Our numbers will be coming out March the 4th, and we'll define that. So we're pretty much at our target of being a third.
But is that a moving target now that you're 6, 7 years later?
We'll raise the target. When we bring out our numbers on March the 3rd or 4th, whenever it is, we will raise the target probably into the high 30s or maybe even higher than that. It's similar to what we've seen with the BRICS and Next 11. They are also around about a third of our business. We're almost up to the target that we set, again, 6, 7, 8 years ago. What we want to do is to take it beyond that. The other third part of our strategy, it's about our strategy is about new markets, geographies, new media, and what we've just been talking about, and last but not least, consumer insight. And the consumer insight business is about $5 billion. We're about the same size as Nielsen, which just IPO'd on the back of a private equity syndicate very successfully. And so really, in each of those areas, and they do overlap, you have digital research, you have a faster growing market, consumer insight, they do overlap, but each of those businesses are about a third of our business.
So let's get back to mobile in particular, which Betty mentioned in the intro, because you've said that mobile apps...
We were in Barcelona earlier this week.
Right, exactly. It's sort of the tip of the iceberg.
I spend my life at conferences.
Well, good for us, because we get to hear a lot of what you have to say.
It's working, doesn't it?
But when you look at interactive media, how important is mobile going to be?
Well, mobile is sort of small and perfectly formed. My mother used to say, good things come in small packages, and I think you say about the issue with mobile is it's highly fragmented and relatively small, but it's very fast growing. So we had a session in Barcelona about applications, and they tripled last year from I think a base of about $5 billion to $15 billion, and all the statistics about downloads and free downloads and the paid for downloads are stunning in terms of growth rate. But in the context of our industry, which is a $1 trillion industry, we operate 500 billion is traditional media, 500 billion is outside.
Right.
It's relatively small beer at the moment. Having said that, what I was trying to get over in Barcelona
just quickly, if you would.
is it's mobility. It's about targeting, knowing what the consumer wants and does and how they behave. And that's why mobile is going to be very successful, particularly in the faster growth markets. China, 700 million mobile subscribers. India, 500 million.
All right.
A lot of growth to come.
Thank you so much. Martin Sorrell of WPP. Betty?